comes to that. But then another twist in a best of 5 or best of 7 in a big final or around semi-finals and finals, Life is undefeated. He's never lost the best of 5 or best of 7.
He's an absolute master at handling these very difficult, high-stress situations. It's what makes him a champion, but one of the things that makes TaeJa a champion is his ability to play out these longer games. What it really comes down to between the two of these players as this match continues, how much can TaeJa power out his macro, and can he hold on against the relentless aggression that Life's brought against every Terran he's played so far in this tournament?
That's right. The both of these players, let's talk a little bit about their styles as this game is under wraps, as they set up their starting build orders. Life is aggressive. He's got fantastic control. His counterattacks are furious. He's all over the place. If you move out, he comes around and attacks your heart, the main base, the natural, your third. He is all over the place. TaeJa, on the other hand, his mechanics are solid. He doesn't make mistakes. He's fluid with his builds, he's fluid with his strategy, and he executes it to the finest you can get. On top of that, he likewise has some of the best control out there and will always be looking to win fights and outclass you when two armies are head-to-head.
Both players have shown incredible, impressive play in this matchup. In particular, we've seen Life come back from situations that seem almost unwinnable, especially in the match that he played yesterday against Innovation. And looking forward to this series on Frost, what do you think is the biggest advantage that Life can take with this aggressive play?
I mean, I think just counterattacks, man. Counterattacks are some of the plays I've seen Life win games with. Sometimes in positions where it looks like he's going to be dead, but no, he wins it with those kind of type of moves. So I think that's going to be something for him to really focus on against TaeJa. But within Terran versus Zerg in StarCraft 2, in a best of 7 games total we could go to, this is a very mechanically focused matchup. There's not as much strategy that goes into this matchup. It's really down to who the hell can really nail down their strategy, nail down their builds, and execute it well. And the longer this goes on, I think we really are going to see a long and decent series here.
Yeah, execution is, as you said, key. These are not players that are prone to throwing in rather unorthodox strategies. Unlikely to see mech come from a player like TaeJa in this matchup. And already, the build's starting to develop. The factory's coming close to completion with that reactor. Life scaring away the SCV. His speed very close to completing, and Life always loves to open up with this fast circling speed. Gives him so many options for bringing that early pressure, but nothing committed just yet. And, well, still pretty relatively slow start. TaeJa, keeping it slow, gets a fast third command center. Yeah, so TaeJa's opened up here with one of the most common builds that we see in Terran versus Zerg. He's gone for the command center first to expand to a second location immediately here. He's then gone ahead and got the barracks straight to the factory to start to produce Hellions. And then right next to it, he's got the third command center, really push his economy because he's not looking to do any damage in the early stages. He's looking to power up, increase his economy, and then really get the ball rolling come 10 minutes, come 11 minutes when his production finally kicks in, and that's when TaeJa's really gonna get loose in this series. For the next few minutes, Life, from what it seems, is pretty much doing exactly the same. He hasn't scouted out what his opponent's doing, which is why we see this overload go in. If he can see that third command center, he knows he's in the green, he knows he's fine to keep on going, but he doesn't quite see it. So TaeJa has chosen to go very economically focused. Life doesn't know that, so Life must play just a little bit cautious in case TaeJa was to pull something out the bag. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of reads that Life can make. Seeing that there's a tech lab on the barracks doesn't look like a fast Banshee play, especially considering that second gas wasn't taken yet. TaeJa's adding on the engineering base now, though, and Life, with the fast third base, he's not really worried about anything. I feel like this is one of those situations where you can look at TaeJa and say, it's unlikely for you to bring that pressure. I'm confident with taking this third base, getting my own evolution chambers, and the upgrades are actually going to be pretty even as these Hellions start to press forward and try to take out some of this creep tumors. Yeah, so there is no gimmicks here. It is just pure, straight up games. No aggression, just, we're going to see a long game here. It's Frost, it's a big 4-player map. Both of them focus very heavily on their economy, very heavy on upgrades. Both are upgrading twice at the same time here, attack and defensive upgrades, and they are trying to rush out as many workers as possible. 42 SCVs currently for TaeJa, 50 drones here for Life, and the game is really going to come out to play come the next, 3-4 minutes.
once we see Medivacs enter the field here for TaeJa. That's when we're going to start to see some first action.
Yes, and Life starting to put out those Zerglings. There are a lot of Hellions. TaeJa choosing to open up with 8 Hellions at the start of this game. Typically we see 6, but I think against a player that likes to play with a lot of Zerglings early on, if those 2 extra Hellions mean the difference between stopping those attacks from surrounding you and getting rid of your map control, then it's a worthwhile investment. He knows that Life is unlikely to play with any type of early roach strategy.
Yeah, I mean, these Hellions, if Life was to cut corners, if Life was to make a mistake, TaeJa would jump in and look to do damage here, but that's not the case. Life does have a lot of Zerglings here, and if TaeJa was to move forward towards that Xel'Naga tower, he absolutely could get pounced upon, but that's not going to be the case here. These Zerglings shouldn't be able to do too much. They're just really to counteract the Hellions. This is a very common thing here, which is why we don't really see the action come into play until the next couple of minutes. Both of these players expecting each other to have these to counteract each other, and once again, they're just going to bounce back to their economy, both increasing their drone count, increasing their SCV count, and now TaeJa is taking that third base.
Yeah, Life, honestly, in the first series these guys played, didn't have quite as much luck with getting those units in. TaeJa was very diligent about trying to hold off the counterattacks, those run-by plays. And I think this benefits him because the way that Life is playing this, he has the Zerglings on the map, but he's not trying to force anything, taking a bit of a poke towards the third. TaeJa keeps his Hellions wherever he feels he's most vulnerable to the counterattacks. It's one of the big weaknesses that killed a lot of the other Terrans Life played against, overextending, getting too confident when there's a lot of Zerglings on the field, and we're seeing even more pour out. The Baneling Nest coming in, as well as the Spire. But both players getting very fast 2-2 upgrades as well. They're really focused, as you said, on this macro game.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're actually kind of reaching their maximum economy they can get now. They're both on 3 bases for the time being. And now the game is going to really come down to TaeJa. Can he start to break down and wear his opponent down? He's going to have to scan to get rid of some creep tumors. You do not want to have this push too far forward. And the big focus of this game, can TaeJa break the fourth or break a base of his opponent? Because if not, then we're going to have way too much gas really built up for Life. He's going to be able to build a lot of Banelings, he's going to be able to build a lot of Mutalisks, he's going to be able to start to tech up towards Hive, and TaeJa doesn't want that freedom to be allowed to start tail Life.
Yes, TaeJa smartly waiting for his Medivacs before he steps onto the creep. The Hellions can deal with a lot of Zerglings, but the Banelings are now on the map. Baneling speed only just starting, now beginning to retreat, trying to hide from these Banelings. The surround from the Zerglings lifts up as the Banelings arrive. The Hellions are gone, but TaeJa takes out a little bit of these units, and Life unfazed for the most part.
Unfazed, and I'd say that was a small victory there for Startail Life, clearing up their Hellions already. They're all gone, and then we didn't really see too much for TaeJa actually killing units there. So a small little victory for Startail Life, buying him a little bit more time as the Team Liquid TaeJa is now looking for another attack. He has to regather his forces. He didn't really clean up that much creep there, which was the initial goal of the push out.
Yeah, and one of the other things that Life does so well, he's been sitting at his 80 drones for a couple minutes. He gets these drones up while still having the map presence of those Speedlings, and it allows him, in this stage of the game, to produce pure units. He doesn't need much else, and that's how these Zerglings swarming these Marines in the center could force them to pick up. Widow Mines are burning. Baneling speed not done just yet. And he's pressing it back, but the creep has reached that halfway mark. We even have the 5th base on the way towards the south center side. Picks off the Queen, still creep tumors, and now that the Mutalisks are coming out, it's not as simple as just jumping in the Medivacs once those Zerglings get on top of the bio.
That's right, and Life, oh, nice pick up there by TaeJa, gets the 2 Widow Mines because the Mutalisks are going to get them. But we do have Life going to the Infestation Pit already, and that's actually very early on in the game. And the reason why it's early is because he has gone untouched. He's got full base economy. He hasn't been slowed down at all. And he's going to be able to tech up incredibly fast. And if TaeJa doesn't really know this is happening, he absolutely could get blindsided. He's going to be looking towards increasing his upgrades. He's probably going to be looking towards getting into Ultralisk. It's something that TaeJa really needs to start to understand what's going on in this game.
Yeah, Marines give a bit of a poke. TaeJa is continuing to press out on the map. Supply pretty close, which with this creep spread kind of favors Life, I feel, if he can get Banelings in a good position. But here we go. He's moving out on the creep. The huge Zergling counterattack. This is how Life likes to play. Can he make anything happen? Is there an opening for him to jump into TaeJa's base? He's running back. Great Widowmine shots, eliminating the majority of Life's force.
And that gives TaeJa a massive opportunity. That was a lot of units. And TaeJa is going to sit back at home to defend with Justice reinforcements and moves into a fantastic position. Those units could have been getting and stopping TaeJa's units from taking the high ground. He's going to borrow his Widow Mines, and he has position on that base. He's going to start to slow down Life for the first time in this game.
The Banelings trying to move up this ramp. He's trying to cover this fourth base. A great spread from TaeJa still. A lot of the Marines cleaned up, and Life still having some trouble. These medevacs keeping this bio alive. The 2-2 really working well in this situation. Now moving back. And TaeJa, I don't think he realized that this base is here towards the left side. Now his Marines should spot the creep, but Life trying to press back has not been able to find that opening.
But look at this, 3-3 upgrades are going on. TaeJa never really broke that fourth base. He never really killed any drones or slowed his opponent down, even though he was in a position to do so. Life pushed him back. The Ultralisk Cavern is on its way. The further tech is in favor of Life. And TaeJa keeping up the aggression. He knows he has to slow the Zerg down. He cannot allow so much freedom to him. But Life is building more Banelings. He's got the Mulus count. It's not that high at this moment. But he is waiting and ready to accept another wave from TaeJa.
Yes, he is. Zabio's moving towards the bottom side. And important to note, TaeJa has 2 tech labs on all of his barracks. So he can only produce 2 Marauders at a time. It's a reasonable amount, not quite enough to overpower a full Ultralisk army. And as he does pick this hatch off, there's not much here invested for Life. There's no drones. But now the Ultralisks are on the production tab. That 3-3 coming in. I don't think we have chitinous plating just yet, so the Marines will still have a lot of power versus these Ultralisks. Scans forward, wants to see what's waiting here. And the lack of creep gives him a bit of edge, I think, as far as being able to micro in this spot.
TaeJa's really scared of counterattacks at all times, so he doesn't actually have his entire army here, and it is a little bit scary, that. But he does have a good position. There is no creep up there. There are Widow Mines spread, but TaeJa, I don't think he realizes that Life is coming from 2 different angles here.
And he might actually flank the flanking force as those reinforcements come in. He's pressing for the 4th base. Not too many more Banelings, trying to get a few more in here. And TaeJa finds that flanking force, continuing to press. He has a lot of Marines this store doing a great job of also holding these Mutalisks at bay.
All right, is TaeJa going to be able to hold this high ground? Because Life will not be very happy with him being up there. The Ultralisks are about to pop. The upgrades have completed for TaeJa. They're not quite ready for Life, but I think Life's going to take an engagement up that hill. Will it be a good one? The Thor gets picked up to go to the back of the unit so we can use it against the Mules. A good couple of Widow Mines, and TaeJa survives on the high ground, pushes Life back, and that is a nice little win there for TaeJa.
And all in the meantime, he's planted that 4th base. The Ultras trying to press forward. Chitinous plating, 3-3 not done just yet. These are melting this bio. Does he have enough? It doesn't seem so. They're so weak. Just the Ultralisks and the Mutalisks. No Banelings. Infestors are on the way, but is it enough? He might be able to shove this force away, but he's lost a lot of resources holding off this push.
Look at the supply. Both of them trading major blows to each other. Still relatively close when it comes to that supply count, but Life is bouncing back to the other side. That's a lot of supply in the air in medivacs, which obviously aren't going to be doing any damage anytime soon. And Festers are on the way out as well. Are the reinforcements left at home okay for TaeJa to hold on? They should be. And with a 4th base now established for TaeJa, and a planetary fortress I'm sure it is, he is in a good position to rebuild the army that he's lost. But we already see Life moving up to a different level of tech now. He's got the greatest Spire on the way. With no Vikings in production and none at all here ready to go, then that could be a very deadly switch up here for Life against TaeJa.
Yeah, it's still an interesting position because he still hasn't really committed as much towards building the Marauders, still only 2 tech labbed barracks. So the Marine count, if Life overextends with the composition based on Broodlord, since the creep is nowhere on TaeJa's half of the map, he could catch him, get under him, but Zerglings, a couple Banelings morphing in, trying to go for a flank on the left side. TaeJa actually burns some Widow Mines by this base of Life. Will pick off a ton of drones for free here. Very nice catch as he presses once again towards the center of the map.
Life waiting for his opponent to move through the middle. He's got Zerglings set up. He's got Banelings with this as well. How much damage is he going to go down? He's got Zerglings on the 3rd base. TaeJa responds immediately, starts to repair on his 3rd, and it looks like he's going to defend on his 4th. Well, excellent reactions there from Liquid TaeJa, and those Zerglings did ultimately nothing.
Life's counterattacks, his multiple pronged attacks, really the backbone of his play style, and TaeJa has survived every blow. These Widow Mines even picking off a few Banelings by the Ultralisks. Broodlords are on the way, Apollo. We have 3 coming in. There's still 7 Ultralisks.
They're not ready yet, though.
Powerful army. Can TaeJa make something happen before this army completely finishes its setup?
Oh, some beautiful fungals coming out there from Life, and he gets a massive hit on those units. And then he turns around with his Ultralist, and is he going to be able to take it? He's dropping in supply fast. That's a lot of units under that. Despite the fungals, look, TaeJa stands strong on creep.
He has so much healing power with these medevacs, with Thor as well helping to tank a lot of the damage from the Ultralist. There are Broodlords, but 2 Broodlords is not enough to kill this off. TaeJa up 70 supply. GG. Game number 1 goes to the Liquid player.